Hello guys, I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. This is Fola Apparel. I got a lot of requests on how this pant was made, but I'm very sorry guys, I've been busy. So here we are today. Let's get to business real quick. So I'll be doing this on a pattern paper first before cutting on the fabric. So here I'm just marking 1 inch, which should be for the border line. I'll mark 1 inch on both sides and mark out a straight line, just the way you see me doing. So the next thing now is to divide the hip that you are working with. You are going to divide it by 4 inches. The hip that I'm working with is 33 inches. 33 divided by 4 gave me 8 1/4. Then I'm going to mark it down and rule a straight line on it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark out the length of the trouser. And I'm going to remove 1 inch from the length, which will be for the band. I hope you can see. So I came out with 1 inch on my tape rule before marking the 39. I hope you understand. So then you are going to add extra 1 inch for the folding. So now you are going to measure your hip line. Same way you did for the length, you are going to remove 1 inch. So the hip line I'm working with here is 7.5. So at the end of the day, after moving 1 inch up, I'm going to be having 6.5. I hope you understand what I mean. So you are going to mark out a straight line. So the next thing you are going to do now is to get the plumb line, or you call it balance line. To get that, you will divide your hip measurement divided by 4, then divided by 2. I hope you understand. The 8 1/4 that I have here, I'm going to divide it into 2. Then I will mark it all through and form a straight line. Here my hip measurement, which is 8 1/4 divided by 2, it will give me 4.1. So I'll be marking that 4.1, as you can see. So now the waist I'm working with is 25.5, the hip is 33, while the round thigh is 19.5. So now on the waist, I'm going to divide the waist measurement by 4 inches, then I'll share it equally on the plumb line. The waist measurement we have here, which is 25.5 divided by 4, will give me 6.4. So the 6.4, I'm going to share it equally on the plumb line, which means I'll have like 3.2 on one side of the plumb line and 3.2 on the other side of the plumb line. I hope you understand what I mean. So on the hip, I need my hip measurement divided by 4, which I already have there. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect what I have on my waist to the hip line, just the way you see me doing. So now on the center part of the trouser, which is the center front, I'm going to remove 1 inch because that part is not meant to be straight. I'll remove 1 inch and connect it to the side of the trouser. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to get the crotch depth. To get that, you are going to divide your hip measurement divided by 4. So whatever you get is what you are going to use. Because my own pants is not tight, the crotch part is not tight, but if you want it tight on the crotch part, you are going to remove 1 inch from whatever you get. So now the crotch depth that I have here is 8 1/4, and I'm going to measure that from the slant line that I have on the front, just the way you see me doing. So I'm going to mark a straight line on the 8 1/4. So now on that crotch depth, I'm going to mark out my round thigh divided by 2. Round thigh divided by 2. So I have 19.5. 19.5 divided by 2 will give me 9 3/4. So I'll measure the 9 3/4 from the starting line on the side. The next thing I'm going to do now is to connect my round thigh with the hip line using my curve rule. Right now, you are going to take the measurement which you have on the crotch depth. You are going to take it down to the length of the trouser. Here I have 9 3/4. I'm going to measure that 9 3/4 down. But I don't want the down part to be too wide, so I'm going to be removing 1 inch from that 9 3/4, which will now give me 8 3/4, and that's what I'll measure on the down part. Then I'm going to connect it to the crotch depth. And that is all for our front pattern. Now for the back pattern, I'm going to be doing it on this front pattern as well. The difference there is you are going to add 3 inches on the crotch depth, 2 inches on the knee, then 2 inches on the full length. And also you are going to add 2 inches on the hip line, 2 inches on the waist. Then you are going to raise the center back. You are going to raise it up by 2 inches and connect it to the side. I hope you understand. Now you are going to connect the lines together. So this is the pattern for the front and the back, and I'm going to be cutting it out now. And don't forget to cut off the 1 inch border line as well. So this is the fabric I'll use. This is crepe and it is 2 yards. So I'm going to fold it into 2 and cut out the back pattern first. Now you are going to add ½ inch to the side, and that will be the only allowance that you'll be adding. The extra inches that we added to the back pattern we cover for the others. I added extra 1 inch to the length because she wants it to touch the floor very well. You might not add to your own, so here I'm just cutting it out. So we are done cutting the back. Now we are going to cut the front. I want you to pay attention here. Watch closely to see what I'm cutting out for the front pattern. So now I'm going to cut out the front pattern as well, adding extra ½ inch to the side. And now on the side, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch from the top. I'll notch it, then also measure 6 inches from that 1/2 inch. Notch it. This will be for my pocket opening. I'm using 6 inches for this person because she's on the small side. If your hip is like 35 upwards, just use 6.5. I'll repeat the same thing on the back side as well. So now for the pocket, I'm going to cut out 6.5 by 9 inches. Yours can be 10 inches, but I'm using 9 inches for her. So 6.5 by 9 inches. I'll cut it in 2 places. My fabric is on fold. And that is all for the pocket. So now for the band, I'm going to mark out 3.5 by our waist measurement plus 2 inches. Our waist measurement is 25.5. Then I'm going to add 2 inches. That will be 3.5 by 27.5. So now for the zipper fly at the front, I'm going to fold my fabric into 2, then measure 2 inches by 8 inches. And I'm going to cut it out. Now for the second flap, I'm going to measure 2 inches by 8 inches, but my fabric will not be on fold. On the second flap, I'm going to mark 1 inch up and create a curve with it, just the way you see me doing. And that is all for our cutting. The part 2 would be uploaded later, which is the sewing part. See you guys later, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here. Bye.